Hey guys, and welcome back to the Let's Build of our new Cops and Robbers map. So last time we completed the police station. We haven't really done anything on the inside of it, but we'll allow time at the very end of all the structural builds. Like I'll build all of the structures and the outsides of it, and then I'll work on all the insides all at one time. So today we're going to be working on the town hall. It'll be like right next to the bank, or the bank and the police station. The bank is just behind me in this shot right here. But yeah, it's right adjacent to the police station, and the bank, the police station, and the town hall are all gonna sort of be in the same area, and they're gonna sort of form a town, a main downtown area, somewhat like a plaza maybe or something. So we'll see how that plays out. But anyway, for this build, nothing new. You know, I'm making my I already made the foundations for it off camera, as I did with all the other buildings. I made the foundations off camera just so that you guys didn't actually have to see me place all that down. So everything will be situated as for the foundations from here on out. So right now I'm just playing with some wood, seeing what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do brick again because it would be too similar to the police station. So just playing around with some different woods and finding what I like best with not very much luck. I decided to just go ahead, and if I was going to use wood, brick probably wouldn't be a good idea to also use, because the materials kind of don't really look all that good together. So I actually had to go back on the foundation and redo it all with wood. This will be a mainly a wood building. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just placing down, sort of seeing how it'll look before I actually, like, you know, go with it. So I took a look at it and determined that I did actually want to go with this plan. So I continued to lay out the foundation the way I wanted it to be. So, as with all my other builds, the outside corners will be a different material than the main wall. So, I used the spruce wood logs for the outside corners, and then filled in the walls with this dark spruce wood. So right now I'm just going around filling up all of the walls with this spruce wood, and then we'll work on other details after that. Now a little something about the Cops and Robbers map, and about Cops and Robbers and the way we do it in general, is that it's not exactly the Cops and Robbers that everybody else does. We put our own twist on it and actually made our own whole new game. I've gotten a lot of comments in the Xbox version of it, the videos that we have up of it. People saying that this isn't Cops and Robbers, this isn't how you play it, but we made our own version, and it's a little more creative. It's not just taking somebody else's idea and just playing with it and just like playing on that map. We actually made our own map and we did everything on our own, and so like we're just being creative. We're not doing what everybody else is doing. So if you have a problem with that, just don't watch our videos then. Right now I'm just going around deciding what roof I wanted to actually use. I played around with a lot of different materials, brick being one of them that wasn't such a great idea, and I realized that right away, so I just destroyed it as quickly as possible. But I did want to play with it. I wasn't sure if I wanted it to be wood or brick. I didn't really want it to be wood, just because you know, that way the whole building will be wood and it'll look kind of strange. So I played with stone a little bit, and the pillars along the side, and kind of tried to figure out what I wanted to do. I eventually ended up settling with stone, so that way everything doesn't look so identical to each other. So I'll just continue to go around the building and lay down the roof as I usually do. So I'm just completing the roof right now, laying the final brick steps, and then I'll go ahead and lay down a flat roof for the top, for the very top. It won't go all the way up until a peak. The very top of it will be flat. Okay, so now that I completed the roof, I wanted to go around and make some crown molding inside of the building, just because I didn't like how the wood and the brick met up in such a perfect linear line, you know. So I wanted to give it a little more detail, and so that way the two materials didn't just connect at one point. This way, like, the wood sort of arched up into the brick. With saying that, I also did want to add some stairs all along the roof for the inside, so that way it has that sort of a stair step look to it. So that way it looks a lot better. Now the only problem with this was that, you know, I wanted to have a second floor on it, so I had to figure out if the second floor would be, if you'd actually be able to get up there, and if it wouldn't be too crammed. Now it is a little crammed on the outsides, but it's alright, and I stuck with it, and I just continued to actually make the step down approach to it. The other bad thing about using steps and stairs for the ceiling is that you actually cannot place torches on any steps, whether it's the actual step part or if it's even the inside part of it, so like any of this inside part of the building, which is unfortunate, but it's just something you gotta live with. If you want to get around that issue, you can place like a block, like just a normal blocked roof of just you know, cube materials, not any steps or anything special. I noticed I made some holes here, so I decided I'll just go ahead and patch them up. But if you made a block like ceiling and roof, and then on the outside of it you went and put stair steps all along, so that way it can still have that sort of a shingled look to it on the outside, but yet you could still place torches on the inside, so that's also a way to get around it. But I do like how it's that stepping up sort of look to it inside the building, so I just stuck with my my original plans. So right now I'm just taking out all the grass and gonna place down these nice light wood floors. So right here, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just placing down some, or just like checking to see, because I terraformed the land a little bit, took out some large like hills and stuff that I didn't actually want there, and I was just wondering if these grass blocks actually keep the grass on the when they have blocks on them, if you understand what I'm saying. So like when you put down a grass block, since I am in creative mode, well, at least game mode C inside of a regular game. One of you guys in the comments of the last video were wondering how I'm in creative, but there's still monsters. That's how. Just slash game mode C. But anyway, so I was just wondering if the grass blocks, if you place them down in creative mode and then you build something on top of them, I was actually wondering if the grass actually gets destroyed like it normally would, or if it does stay. So I was just going back and checking the area where I terraformed to see if it did actually change back to a whole dirt block rather than a grass block. So I'm just lighting up the place as monsters are coming in, but I need to make sure there's adequate light so that you guys can see what I'm doing. And also it's kind of nice to build in a nicely lighted area, so that it's also a main thing. These monsters, the mobs, were getting in the way, so I wanted to put some doors up and some pressure plates, as always, because that is the best way to make doors. And next was slaying time. Time to take out all of these guys in here and continue building. So I'll go ahead and finish laying down the second floor, and then I'll get back to you guys soon. So now I wanted to figure out a way to make a staircase. As I said before, it would be kind of difficult to make one since I do have this stone steps and everything. So the sides of the second floor are smaller than the sides of the first floor, and so you're actually not able to get up all the way. So like if you're building a staircase, you need to build it out one layer from the I guess the walls of all walls, really. So I built this staircase here, and I didn't quite like how it looked, so I wanted to go back and try to redo it. I also wanted to see if I could do a staircase here, and you can see what I mean, that the walls and the ceiling mainly get in the way when you're trying to go up the staircase. So I stuck with my original plan and made this staircase. Unfortunately, I didn't really like how it looked, so I went back later on and changed it, and you'll see that later. But just playing around with how it looked, and I didn't really like at all how it looked, but I will end up changing it later. But sort of make it look a little more like a staircase, I tried some various options that obviously didn't look very good, so I took those right out right away. Playing around with various things about this stupid staircase. Unfortunately, it didn't look very nice. It worked, but it was large. you know, I didn't really like it, so I ended up just taking it all out. So I was just thinking about what I wanted to do, and then I decided, hey, I'll go with a very spiral staircase. It'll be a nice thin spiral staircase, so it'll save some room, but it'll also work. And so I stuck with it, and I like it a whole lot better than the larger staircase. So after building that staircase, later on I stopped playing, and then I came back and continued to work on the staircase, finished it, made sure that all these step blocks were taken out, and you know, I was pretty happy with the way it looked. So I wanted to finish it up by putting some fences in to give it that that look, and now it's a pretty nice looking staircase. So now that the staircase is out of the way, it's time to work on other things. And I thought this building wasn't complete without some sort of like tower on the top of it. So I was just checking which spruce wood I actually used, or which type of wood I actually used, because this is another recording session. This isn't the same one. So I went around and I put down these 4 pillars to begin the foundations for the tower that'll be on top of the building. And played around with a few things. I didn't like how wide it looked. It didn't look much like a tower, but more of just an extension of the building itself. So I made it a little bit smaller to make it a little more of a like a square rather than a rectangle. So I built up on these and then continued to work on the actual thing. So first I tried on the actual walls, I should say, in the tower. First I tried regular wood. Didn't like how it looked. I wanted to do something else than the same bottom floor, something to make it look a little different, but nothing really looked right. So I went back and I just ended up putting spruce wood in, just because it looks the best. But I didn't want to do exactly the same thing that I did on the bottom floor, but unfortunately it was the only way it would look at least decent. So I just stuck with spruce wood. So I built up the walls of the tower. Sort of trying to make the tower look not so typical, I guess you could say. Trying to give it a new look. Granted, that new look wasn't very good looking, but I'm just trying to make the building more detailed, I suppose. I didn't like how that looked at all, but I still wanted to stick with some more detailing. So I tried a few other things, just like this, where it was pretty much a cube of the wood with the walls and the faces of the cube filled in with the planks, the wooden planks. So I went around and completed this all the way around. Took a step back and decided that this looks pretty ridiculous, but I stuck with it, made some holes for windows, and just continued working. Sort of placing down where stuff would be, just to see how it would look with those things. And these windows would stay here no matter what, so if I made any changes to that cube wood structure, it'd be okay. So I continued to work on the tower, starting with well, continuing rather with the ceiling of the tower. I used the brick steps, just like I did for the bottom floor, and I just built up this tower. Now I wanted it to sort of go from like a constant slope, I guess you could say, to going up at a steeper angle. So I added in this brick and continued building. And so I placed down these, and it took quite a while trying to figure out how to put these in so they're all connected to each other. Couldn't figure it out, but it was okay because I didn't like how it looked anyway. So I tried it a little bit lower to see if that would change anything, because I still wanted it to go higher. So I ended up doing 2 more blocks to see how that would look. Not quite sure what I was thinking, really. I guess it wasn't a very good idea. So I don't know. I really don't know what I was thinking. So I was just playing around with a lot of things. Figured out how to make the peaked roofs, and determined that this roof and the ceiling looks god awful. So I changed it a little bit, and actually with all this change that I've done, I actually was able to get to a nice looking detailed roof. This wasn't quite what I was looking for, so I continued to go down and add another step. So I thought, what if I just put down another step and then have this sort of a lip area on the very bottom of the ceiling. And I took a step back, looked at it, and quite liked how it looked. So I continued around the ceiling and the roof, and sort of played around with it, and I liked how it looked, and it looked really nice, so I stuck with it. However, there was one thing I didn't like about it, and that was these wood blocks. So I went around and I switched them out for these wooden planks. I also wanted to change it on the inside, so I went around to the inside of the building to swap out the ones that I placed on the inside as well. In doing so, I noticed that the staircase has one of those steps placed inside the staircase, so I wanted to go back and change that. And so I tried to get a wood block, and just playing around with the UI a little bit, because I thought that you were able to take a block and put it right into your inventory, like a sort of a hotkey or something. You hit control and then you click on it or something. So I played around with a few options, couldn't figure it out. Doesn't matter though, continued building. So I'm just playing around with the inside of the peaked ceiling here on the tower, and sort of like making it look a little more interesting. Also playing around with the steps up here at the very top, trying to figure out how they can all connect together. Figured it out and continued putting down the steps. Obviously I've gone a little too far, and so I finished up the roof. I was thinking about making a staircase, but it would be right in the middle of the building, and I wanted to put a big meeting table there in the middle, so I thought I'll just leave it open, and that'll be fine. So I just filled it up and then plonked down some glowstone to light it up. Taking a step back, I looked at the building, quite liked how it looked, and decided to continue on. So we're starting the windows now. So next I played around with some wooden steps to sort of connect the roof to the tower. Didn't really like how it looked, so I took them out and stuck with the original how it looked. So stepping back, liking how it looked, but I did want to do something to the very top. This is something I was kind of thinking about throughout the build, and I wanted to put a flagpole with a flag at the very top. However, since I used these steps, it didn't quite work how I wanted it to, so I tried playing around with it. Couldn't really get anything. You know, I tried a lot of options, but nothing would really work, and nothing would really look as good as the original steps that would lead up to a very small peak. So I couldn't do that, so I decided I'll do it on the floor here in front of the building. So I placed down some fences on top of each other for the flagpole, and then I'll put some colored pieces of wool at the top of them for the actual flags. Played around with a few options for the flags, checking different directions, deciding how large I wanted the flags. Ended up sticking with this direction, except just a larger flag. So I just stuck with that concept and continued on with a second flagpole, identical to that one. I really like how this building turned out. It looks very nice, and looks a lot like a town hall, and I really like that. It's got the flagpoles. However, in retrospect, I don't really like how they look, so I might take them out or maybe do something else, move them. We'll see how that goes, but I do like the tower. I like how the building pushes out to the back of it. It looks very nice. So we'll continue building on next episode with the bank, and as you can see, this place is starting to take shape, and the whole Cops and Robbers map should look pretty good. Thanks for watching.